I'm seeing a lot of like I see a lot of imagery about you walking through a dark tunnel, and then at the end of the tunnel, there's this like glaring bright light, and coming into that light, and then looking up at the sky, and everything is really blue, and it's a clear day. Okay. Whenever I see that, it's sort of like this tunnel of transformation, walking through a situation where you have a lot more clarity and a lot more breadth of vision as well as purpose as to what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go, where you're headed. And I feel like things are made very, very clear to you guys, okay, which is a really good energy. And I feel like this is indicative of a change in your own mindset that's allowing this situation new beginnings, as well as a newfound sense of insight and awareness to take place. Okay, so I feel like it's a lot of it is internal. Like everything is internal. It's not like opportunities are coming in. It's not like you're it's like the changes are self-induced. Okay, so it comes from within, and it's all started because of a new mindset, a new sense of clarity. And so I feel like a lot of it is self-directed. You're taking charge in your life, and I got a very similar energy when I was doing the Cancer reading, where it says they're back in the driver's seat. I feel like that's what's happening for you guys. The water signs are really, taking charge, behaving more like a fire sign, and really, steering their life in the direction that they want. Okay. So the first image that I saw for you while meditating on this month's reading was that tunnel. I see this little boy and a little dog, and he's walking through this tunnel. And at the end of it is this bright light. He's just like, oh, the tunnel looks a little bit damp, but he sees the light at the end of it. So he's all like, it's okay. I can, make my way across. So as he's walking through, he's looking at the moss, the mold, and like kind of like the dank, stale air underneath, trapped in the tunnel. It's a little bit humid, but then coming out of it, there's this wind sweeping by, bright lights, clear sky, like really, really bright day. So I feel like there's a sense of optimism, a sense of direction, a sense of things opening up for you. And it comes about as a result of taking risks, taking charge, overcoming your fears, not being afraid of this dark tunnel, and being able to move on from that. Okay. Wow, you've got really powerful cards here. Two people wedged between two major arcana cards. So that's really good, very positive. The second vision that I saw was I see this man. He's very tall, and he's wearing a t-shirt, jeans, and he has like a luggage that he's rolling, and on the other side he has like a duffel bag. So the luggage and the duffel bag are both on the ground. You're seeing the back of him. He is outside of what looks like an airport terminal, waiting for his taxi to take him to his next destination or wherever it is he's going. So he's got all his belongings, and then the taxi pulls up. A yellow black cab pulls up, and he hops in with his stuff, and the driver is all like, "Where do you want to go? Where's your destination?" And he goes, "Surprise me." Okay, and then the you see the cab kind of takes off, and there's this winding road heading towards the sunset on the other side. And so I feel like it's a big metaphor, it's like the voyage, the passage, the journey of life. Okay. And I feel like the words surprise me. It resonated, like it echoed throughout that image. And I feel like what it's saying is you're a lot more open-minded. Okay. No longer is the Scorpio wanting to obsessively control everything, obsessively plan everything. You guys are big planners, but a lot of the times you might have realized that you plan for something and then things kind of veer off in a different direction. And a lot of the times in the process of veering off, offshoots and things go off on a tangent, you realize that they're actually a lot better than what you have initially planned. Okay. You might plan a detour, and you might be dealing with somebody who's a little bit more unpredictable. And so you have your things, your way, your plans set in a straight motion. And then in the process of dealing with others around you who are a little bit more fickle, your plans kind of veer off on a tangent. And then along the way, in the process of getting to that, going off on that offshoot, that tangent, you realize that things are a lot better. I'm seeing new things. I'm seeing things that I wouldn't see. So in this journey of life, I feel like there are a lot more experiences, new opportunities dotted along the road that you hadn't anticipated for. But you're so straight-laced and you were so meticulous about planning that you only saw one way. And I feel like the universe has to bring about these people into your life so that you can allow yourself to just kind of like relax and just kind of like say, you know, I welcome whatever opportunities the universe wants to bring in for me. Or, you know, surprise me. What else have you got? Surprise me. And also, I'm seeing, you know, you're definitely a lot more open to new things, new ways of doing, new ways of thinking, new experiences. And as a result, you're being delivered these things, okay? Wow, you've got some really, yeah, powerful cards here. And so I feel like the theme for this reading is sort of like death and transformation. Death of the old ways of doing, the self-limiting talks, the ways in which you have really held yourself back in the past, or the ways in which you have really stuck to a specific agenda, and you were so strict on yourself and so stringent with yourself that that was all that you saw. It's sort of like that tunnel vision, okay? That was all that you saw. And as a result of opening yourself up to more, to kind of like not control things and try to let things flow naturally when we kind of like relinquish control, that's when things get smoother. That's when the universe works behind the scenes, but it requires us to have trust and faith. And many of you guys are incredibly spiritual. You believe, you guys are so humble. You believe that there is a greater power out there controlling this universe. I don't know what it is. I might not even believe in that there is a God, but there is something, a divine force. Everything has to be planned. And so it alleviates a lot of stress from your end. And it just overall, you know, allow things to happen for you effortlessly, without you having to make any major changes in your own life. So it's all about a paradigm shift, a change in the ways you think, and a change in the ways that you accept things to come in and allow things to come in. That's what's really that tunnel is about, okay? Stepping into the unknown. It's a little bit stale. There's still air, there's mildew, there's moss growing underneath you know, in that tunnel. And you don't know if you reach your hands out, you know, what you're going to touch. But the point is, keep yourself focused. Walk straight ahead towards that light at the end of the tunnel, and all will be fine, okay? So Scorpios, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've got 4 major arcana cards, and the major arcana cards are basically indicative of things that are outside of our control. All of the cards look really, really, really good. They're very powerful cards, so I want to talk about them in conjunction with one another. I guess this one goes here. Okay. So first of all, we have the Strength card, and the Strength card is this is a sense of like peace and tranquility is what I'm feeling with this card, okay? Being in a state of a situation where you attract more people with honey, okay? Smooth talking, as well as smoothing somebody's ruffled feathers. Being kind of like the voice of reason or the voice of rationality in a situation. Smoothing out, ironing out the wrinkles, smoothing out the rough edges, okay? So I feel for many of you, you're in an environment where the people around you are a little bit either unrefined or very brash, very impulsive, very fun to be with. You know, they're like they have no filter whatsoever. Whatever comes to their mind, it comes out of their mouth. So mind and mouth, okay? So like whatever they think up, they just say it. And so I feel like there's a situation where you're refining something, you're refining your work, you're refining a group of people, you're refining the ways in which they communicate, the ways in which they act, the ways in which they behave. You're teaching them or showing them how to do things a more graceful way. So I feel like you're in an environment where many of you might play caretakers to other people, might play mentors, might play tutors, might play teacher, or even, showing people how to do things. So you're dealing with a group of people or a person that is a little bit rough around the edges. You have to kind of like, they get frazzled, they get stressed out, they get frazzled, they get uh, it's sort of like this lion. If you see this lion, okay, this is somebody who's like hot-headed, right? So it's somebody who's very, very hot-headed. They want things a specific way, or they want things a certain way. And you're just like, there, everything will be okay. Try to relinquish control. And I also feel like this is a little bit of an ego stroking that you're going to be getting for this month. I feel like somebody is really, stroking your ego, telling you, hey, you did this really well. I really like what you did right there. I really like the way you resolved this. I really like the way that you handle this situation. And you're doing it with a really, really strong sense of grace. I feel like that woman might be you, and you might be male watching this. It doesn't really matter. The cards are not gender specific. But this is somebody who's very fearless. And Scorpio people, you guys are really, you're emotionally, I feel like you guys are the strongest signs that I have met when it comes to emotional strength and resilience, okay? It's almost like you can walk through hell and back, and it doesn't affect you. You feel it, but I feel like a lot of Scorpio people experience many, many, many dark things from a very young age. And so it's almost like life trained you to experience these things at a very young age. And because of that, you grow up very, very resilient. Things don't break you. You don't buckle under pressure. You can handle things that might make other signs that might make other signs give up. And I feel like you handle responsibilities, worth like 10 people. So it's like you're handling responsibilities for like 10 people, and you would be okay, whereas other people around you might buckle under pressure. So I feel like because of that, this is a card about grace, and this is a card about doing things in a very soft manner, attracting people with honey, complimenting people. And you guys don't compliment unless somebody deserves it, but you're in a situation where your softness, your grace goes a long way. Okay, so I feel like because you have exhibited these qualities, I feel like you're getting some really positive payback from the universe. Okay, we also have here the Emperor. And the Emperor, this card indicates somebody who is at the peak of their power, okay? This is someone who's very, very decisive. People defer to you for your judgment, for your guidance, for your expertise and your skills in how to do things. And this is a person, it came out, I don't read this deck in the upright position, but the way that it came out right next to your card, Queen of Cups right here, right next to this energy, people see you kind of like this. The Queen of Cups, she's very, there's a childlike innocence about you when people first see you, especially for female Scorpios. You guys have like this daintiness. But I feel like underneath, like I said, that resilience, you're all steel. And people don't see the steely, strong, resilient side until you're put under pressure and you know exactly what to do. When you're put under pressure, or when you're put in a tough situation, that's when the Scorpio shines their brightest, because they know intuitively what to do, who to call, what to grab, how to resolve things. And so you guys are great at crisis management, and you guys are a force to be reckoned with. So, on the one hand, people might underestimate you. Oh, the dainty water sign, especially this Queen of Cups, she's very loving, very nurturing, very caring, a little bit on the naive end. and not super assertive where she ruffles people's feathers or step on people's toes. Okay, you guys are not like the Sagittarius where they kind of bump into things, or they might say things out loud that might not be socially acceptable. You guys are very, very much the observer of the zodiac, but behind this daintiness and this really soft, cute energy, there's this, dynamism, this dynamite core that people don't really get to see. But once they see it, they're going to be in sheer admiration of you, because this indicates somebody who's like, their head is properly planted on their shoulders. They don't lose their focus. They don't lose their sense of composure. When things get rough, they know how to handle things. They know how to tackle things. They know how to take care of things. And if need be, they know how to fight dirty. Okay. So I feel like you might have been underestimated in the past. And coming into the energy for this month, we still have like a few days left of Aries. And as a result of it, I feel like that's where you're letting more of that spunky, force to be reckoned with side come out, okay? Not in a bad, reckless way, but in a way where it's like, this is where I stand, and you shouldn't really cross me, okay? We also have the World. And this is a card about travel, movement, planning things. I still see this, encased in a bubble. So it's like something is beginning, something is trying to start, not yet, okay, is what I'm getting. So this is sort of like the yes, but not right now. Yes, but in just a little bit, okay? So I feel like it's right next to the Page of Wands. So I feel like the next fire sign time frame, so that where you're going to be very, very emotionally fulfilled, okay? I feel for some of you, this is good news when it comes to housing. When it comes to like, if you put your house on the market and you're trying to sell it, that's what's coming in with this Page of Wands here. Good news, messages coming through. If this is in relations to like new projects, getting off the ground, getting funded, or even completing, that's what this card denotes. It also indicates as well messages, communication, being able to meet another person, getting, some spark of new love for those who are single. They're saying there's a little bit of a time frame. Things are going to get rolling. You're going to get your second win. You're going to get the windfall coming back in, coming back home, okay? So something is getting off the ground, and it's a major transformation in your life for some of you. I feel like you're trying to, consolidate your knowledge, consolidate your skills. Okay, so you might not have been a very, I want to say, completely social. You might not have had a lot of time to yourself to do a lot of leisure activity. I feel like you have been very, very busy. It's like I'm seeing somebody with like a stack of files or portfolios or paperwork on their desk, and they're just going through the motions to process the paperwork. So I feel like you're just going through the motion doing something, but it's not really, you're not completely. That's when new projects will be rolling in that is a little bit more your cup of tea, a little bit more up your alley, where you can kind of showcase your talent, okay? So I feel like this is yes, but not right now. Mainly because what I have here is the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups is like, crying over spilled milk. There was a situation where some of you felt like you might have done something wrong. And then you might have gotten feedback, very, very gentle, delicate feedback telling you, hey, it would be better next time if you did this. And it would be better next time if you took this approach instead of that approach. It would be better next time if you be a little bit more delicate with your communication. Or it might be better if next time you did something different, or you took a different approach. So I feel like somebody might have done that. So I see this card more like return back to the drawing board to fix something. So you might have had to fix other people's ways of doing. You might have to fix other things that people have made mistakes on, or you might have to redo something that you're doing, and then a superior sees that you are actively trying to learn. And Keep in mind, okay, fixed signs. Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus. Okay, the thing about fixed signs is that we identify very, very strongly with the things that we believe in. Okay, and so a lot of the times we have really strong likes and dislikes. The spectrum is very, very heavy when it comes to, either side. There's ever rarely a time where someone mentions something and you're like, I'm okay, I'm on the fence. I can do it or I cannot. We have really, really strong likes and dislikes. We actually love something or we are like ambivalent about it, okay? We actually love somebody or we kind of like don't care. So they're kind of like on the periphery. When you don't care, you don't care. You don't think about them. You don't talk to them. You don't wonder if they're okay. So that's the way fixed signs work. And then on top of that, you identify very strongly with the things that you believe in, your ideological beliefs, the ways in which you do things. Because everything has to be in alignment, right? It's really hard being a fixed sign. And people don't understand that. Our heart, our bodies, and our minds have to be in accordance with one another. With all those things have to be lined up in order for us to do something. When we do something and our heart is not 100% in it, we procrastinate, we drift off into dreamland, we daydream, we just try to distract ourselves with everything else rather than doing that one thing. And when you are conflicted, that's when I feel like, your heart's just not in it. You just do it. You just go through the motions. And so what I'm feeling is a lot of the times when you do something, you identify really strongly with your beliefs. And so when people tell you, hey, next time maybe you should do it differently, they're giving you constructive feedback. And in the past, many of you might have, taken offense to that, okay? Because it's sort of like, not only are they telling you to do something differently, it seems like they're critiquing your intelligence, or they're chipping away at your self-esteem, or chipping away at your belief system. And you're coming into this new sense, walking through that tunnel of transformation and re-emerging on the other end, on the other side, as a new you, where you're just like, wow, they're giving me really good feedback. I'm implementing their feedback. And then I'm seeing better results. So somebody is really seeing that you're really trying. Not only are you trying, you're implementing everything that they tell you to do. And so higher ups are really, really looking at you like, this is somebody I want as my right-hand man or right-hand woman. Higher ups are looking at you like, this is somebody that's really willing to learn, is humble, is willing to take constructive criticism, is really like, I tell them once, they make those necessary changes, and I never have to tell them again. And so they're looking at you, encased in this bubble, like, I want to protect this person's career. I want this person to go far in life. I want to do whatever I can to really nurture and cherish this person. So do you see the difference now? When we operate from that space where it's like, I'm open and I want to learn. So whatever you throw at me, I will accept it because I'm at a point where I know that I don't know everything. You might be in a new environment where you're still testing the waters, and you have respect, really, really strong respect. People have to earn a Scorpio's respect. Just because somebody's your supervisor and they're an idiot, it doesn't mean that you will take their advice to heart or you will, suck up to them. Scorpios don't do that. They have to earn your respect. So I feel like you're in this environment where you're dealing with really powerful players. They know what they're doing. Their heads are on straight. They are really, really smart, intelligent, strategic. Okay, articulate too. You like a certain amount of articulateness in the people that you interact with. And so you look at the people around you and you're just like, wow, this is a new caliber of people. These are like high quality people. They, straight laced. And so I feel like you might be thrust in a new environment where people are who they say they are. Like they don't mince words. They're very straight shooters. They say what they mean what they say. There's no deviousness or conniving energies around these people. And so you feel safe, you feel good, and they have earned your respect because you interact with them. And you're realizing that, wow, these are like high caliber people and they deserve my respect. They've earned it. And so when they're giving you the feedback, that's when you're like, this person knows what they're doing. They have shown me that they're respectable, and they have shown me that they're not self-serving, that they're really caring for my development. And so I'm going to take what they say to heart, and I'm going to implement these things and try to change. And so walking out of that dark, dank tunnel where you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm headed. I don't want to reach out and touch something gross. That's what it feels like, okay? Coming out of this state of like, supposedly feeling like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's other people around me. You're no longer in this environment. You have made it through a major transformation. All this riffraff, people that, make promises they can't keep, people who are full of BS. You're very intolerant of it, Scorpios, and I get it. People who are just like wallowing in self-pity, and then stepping away from that, Two of Cups, finding a community of people who are like-minded, finding people that you get along with, finding people who are on your ideological wavelength, okay? That's really important. In this day and age, especially, once we get past like our 30s, the 30 year, like 30, 28, 29, 30, 31, it's a major transformative time frame where we have our Saturn return. And once we have our Saturn return, we're no longer a child. We think and behave and do things like an adult. Okay, so that means I don't have time for fake people anymore. That's essentially what it means. I don't have time for fake people. I don't have time for flakiness. I don't have time to entertain, relationships and friendships that don't really add to my growth. So I feel like many of you are have come out of this stage. So you might be in your, like mid, late 30s or even beyond watching this, and you're just like, I don't have time for that anymore. Okay, my time is limited, and I'm in this environment with a lot of new people. Coming out of that tunnel can feel really, really liberating, okay? You're in an environment where you feel safe. You don't have to question other people's motives. They say what they say, what they mean, and they walk on the straight and narrow, and you don't really have to second guess. You don't have to distrust their motives, okay? They don't have ulterior motives. They're on the same energetic wavelength as you. Ideologically, they're in alignment with you. And so, actually, there's another major arcana card. So, the Hangman, I feel like there's something here breaking, really going to transform and allow the situation to break open, okay? And then we also have the Hermit. And the Hermit card is sort of like, do you focus on you? You continue on this path, because I feel like many of you are in a really good position right now. You're definitely being divinely guided. For many of you, I feel like there might be some spiritual, really strong spiritual energy around you, like a loved one that has passed on. And they're trying to speak to you in your dream state, in your sleep state, when you allow yourself to get, proper sleep, a good night's sleep, to be able to hit your REM cycle, for example. That's when your guides and the people that have passed on that really cared about you when they were alive, they're trying to transmit messages to you, and they're trying to tell you, to just hang in there, and to tell you that I feel like the month of August, something amazing and transformative is really going to happen for you, okay? So you have some really beautiful things coming into the picture, and I feel like this is a big card about tranquility as well. Being okay, being on your own, not needing a partner to bounce ideas off of, being able to spend time just by yourself, needing alone time even, spending time by yourself. I definitely feel many of you have a lot of demands placed on you by people around you constantly. Like, try as much as you can to limit the noise in your environment. If you're driving, shut off the radio, shut off the news, or just enjoy the scenery, just sit with yourself, okay? And I feel like when you're too amped up, it might be also hard for you to get enough sleep, okay? So I feel like you're trying to you're getting some type of divine messages and spiritual advice that's coming into the picture, but the universe is asking you to kind of like be alone, drown out the noise, so that the messages can really sink in, okay? So I hope that helps. Um, what I have here in terms of love, relationships, and things like that, for many of you, there might have been a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, in your past that might have some regrets in the way that they interacted with you, or you might have some regrets in the ways in which you've interacted with them. Whoever is dealing with the regrets is trying to reach out to the other person, but the other person is like blocking their heart, protecting themselves, and just like, I'm done. I don't have time for the fakeness. I don't have time for people who are still indecisive about what they're trying to do with their lives or trying to do about their relationships. I don't really have time. So I feel like somebody's trying to reach out here. We have the Page of Wands, messages, communication, and you don't really have time. You're preserving your heart. This encased bunny, okay, there's that little heart right there. You're preserving it. You're guarding it. And you have somebody in mind that you want to give it to, is what I'm sensing. And you're preserving your time and your energy and your resources, reaching out, communicating heavily with another person that makes you feel really, really, really good. Okay, so this is a card about like emotional satisfaction here. Looking at somebody from afar, observing somebody, watching somebody grow, watching a situation grow, and just giving it a lot of love and nourishment. For some of you, you have as well an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or Libra. And then we have as well a new fire sign, possibly Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo coming into the picture. Okay, so for those who are single, really, really amazing time to kind of meet new people. And I would say take it slow, because it seems to me like you just got out of a relationship and you should kind of play the field a little bit and just, really enjoy your time and slow down when it comes to Scorpios. When you go dating, you guys draw out a lot of the sexual energies in other people. I don't know if you're aware of that. Okay, so like you bring it out. So the Scorpio energy rules the eighth house, okay? And the eighth house is it's a called a psychic house. And in the mundane way, it deals with like joint finances, other people's money, investment. But in more of the dating, love, intimacy realm, it deals with repressed emotions. It can also deal with sexuality. And so what you're not aware of, and this is something that might be helpful for many of you who are single and, getting out there to date, you are basically drawing out that side of people. You activate that eighth house in a lot of people. So if you're dealing with somebody who has like, who is very sexually repressed, you activate that in them. So they look at you and they're like immediately very, very like passionate about you. And if they're very emotionally repressed, they might have other underlying issues that you need to be aware of. So just because they're coming at you full force, you want to be careful, because take that relationship slowly. Does that make sense? And then on the other hand, the eighth house also rules that joint finances, right? If you're dealing with someone who's very like, if you go out to date, you might deal with people who are not very financially stable. And then on the first date, you're going to start to see that they have boundary issues, that they treat your money, your resources like it's their own. And so issues pop up. It's too late, and then you find yourself in karmic, possibly toxic environments. So I feel like the universe is really telling you, if you are dating, take it very, very slowly, because you're activating people's insecurities, and you're activating deeply repressed things that people try to hide about themselves. And when people come into contact with a Scorpio, you see it all. Like, I feel like, you're kind of like the observer, right? You see people's strengths and their weaknesses. But I also feel like when we like somebody, we overlook a lot of things. And especially if it's a new relationship where we're where we're operating more from the base chakra, the desire, the need to want to get intimate really fast, really soon, you want to be careful. Okay, so you have really good, high quality people that are in the picture right now. So I feel like if you want to date, you definitely are in a really good position right now to put yourself out there and date. But I'm also saying, if you're, for example, online dating, where you're just hit left and right with a lot of people, you need to be careful and you need to slow it down because people are just, really gravitating towards your energy. You're in the front and center of this spread, and that's why I feel like all the energy is converging. Okay, so you might be seen as the light at the end of the tunnel for somebody who might have, gotten out of a relationship, really dark relationship, and they're newly single, or they might not want to be single, and they're not entirely ready yet to move on. And then they see you and they beeline it for you because they see you as that light at the end of their tunnel when they're not emotionally ready. So you want to be able to energetically block out or screen out these people by taking the relationship very, very slowly until you really get to know a person. If you see those red flags, those indicators that I mentioned earlier, just be careful, okay? I will leave it at that. And I wish you all the best, okay? Take care of yourself, and I'll be back in a few weeks, okay? Take care. Oh, and I also want to mention, for those of you who are interested in a reading, I do have a link in the description box below for a psychic based out of California. Her name is Bridget. She's really amazing. I highly recommend a reading with her, okay? So if you're interested in that, please click on the link in the description box below. Take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you guys soon.